Hello, and welcome to Flashback Fridays. No, welcome to Throwback Thursdays. I don't know what day it is. Welcome to Throwback Thursday, where I take a look at a 90s film and give it a review. And this week, in honor of its 25th anniversary, I'm taking a look at Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. It came out in 1995, and I went to see this movie back in 1995 when it came out. My mom took me to go see it. And so I did some calculation because I'm no good at math. I was 8 years old when I went to see this. And it's really weird because my son, right now, is 8 years old as I am speaking on this video. So, one, I just dated this video. Now I'm going to look back on this and be like, oh, he was 8 years old when I did this review. And he's like 8 years from now and he's 16. But, yeah. And so I remember as a kid being really excited. Like, Power Rangers was my thing back in the day. That popped on Fox Kids. I was already a Fox Kids fan with Eek and Batman and stuff like that. And then Power Rangers came along and blew my mind. And I didn't understand most of the stuff as I do now. If you don't know, Power Rangers is a combination of Japanese-style tokusatsu mixed with American footage. It's the Super Sentai footage from over there in Japan mixed with our footage, and that puts a lot of restrictions. So this movie they were doing, they had entirely new suits. It was filmed in Australia, and it didn't have all the original cast, but I didn't care. It was Power Rangers movies on a big screen. It was going to be cool. And yeah, this movie really kind of holds up, really still kind of holds up today, except for some of the CGI. But if you take that CGI out of it, it's really not that bad. You know, compared 25 years later, and it still sort of holds up. Now, Turbo kind of holds up better. Turbo Power Rangers movie holds up better than this because that doesn't have any CGI, but they had a bigger budget. So you got better suits. You got, instead of people in robot suits, you had CGI, which is probably the worst thing in this movie. You got good villains. You got good actors. All the actors, like, you could get disposable martial artists to play your Power Rangers. But no, all the actors who ever played Power Rangers, for the most part, there are some that can't, like most of the ones from and they get in the Disney seasons when they started catching from New Zealand. A lot of them were kind of iffy, but most of the ones during the Fox Kids seasons, they could act, especially the core original cast. And even if you got rid of the three of the original Rangers, you know, the actors they got to replace them were actually pretty good actors. Johnny Young Bosch, who has done a lot of things. He's the Black Ranger in this, and he's done a lot of anime stuff. Jason David Frank, probably the most famous Power Ranger. He's in this. He's a great actor, I think. And he's always ready to come back and do something Power Rangers related if they need him. Except for Power Rangers SPD Wormhole. Where were you there? You had to have freaking Jeffrey Perazzo voice your character. And it didn't sound right, Tommy. It didn't sound right. Where were you? Were you busy at a karate or something? Were you asleep? I don't know. But yeah, so this movie. And like I said, it was a big deal for me growing up. 8 years old, I was ready for Power Rangers. Like, see the movie. My mom took me to see it. And so, there's a lot of disconnect between this and the show. Especially after this. Because after this, the show basically ignored this and did its own 4-part ninja story to adapt the ninja powers into the show. And here, I remember, like, okay, so the whole story is that Ivan Ooze, an ancient villain, has come back. He destroys the command center, which, I remember when I first watched this, and you see that command center up on the big screen, it's a newly remodeled command center, then it gets destroyed, and it's like, aww, and as an adult, you're like, what a waste of money. Like, we're gonna build this entirely new command center just to destroy it. And then they rebuild it. I figure, you know, as adult now, I figure they recorded the before the destruction and the after destruction at the same time, and then destroyed the whole thing. And the rebuilding sequence, when it's rebuilt, it looks pretty good. I think it's mostly practical or in reverse stuff. It's actually pretty cool. It's not like CGI or anything. That's pretty cool. So to get new powers, they have to go to the planet Phaedos, where they meet Dulcia, who, oh boy, she's every pubescent boy's wet dream, let me tell you. Who? Yeah. Also, the Pink Ranger. Watching it this time as an adult, I watched it as an adult before, but it's a little weird. The Pink Ranger is wearing this shirt that goes to like right here, just under her boobage. And then she has these short shorts that if they were any shorter, meow, you know what I mean? I'm just saying. And I started thinking about this. These characters are supposed to be about 16 years old. So their actors are in their 20s. But Kimberly's supposed to be 16 years old and she's allowed to dress like that? Come on. I mean, come on. All the other people are dressed sensibly, you know, but she's supposed to be 16 years old and she's allowed to dress like that. I know the actors were in their 20s at the time, but I'm just saying. Alright? And I wanted a ponytail like Tommy's. I mean, when he first showed up, I wanted a mullet. And I sort of did get one later in life after the Power Rangers, after Tommy was done with Power Rangers, but like, now I wanted a ponytail. My mom had a crush on Tommy because of the ponytail. A thing for Tommy back in the day, I guess. But anyway, and it was fine because he was in his 20s and she was in her mid to late 20s at the time. So it was fine. But anyway, so the villain. Let's talk about the villain. So you got your normal Power Rangers villain, Rita, Repulsa, Lord Zed, Goldar, the pig who only appears in this movie. I guess Scorpina wasn't available. Or Finster. Finster would have been cool. Oh, he's made of goo, my queen. That'd be cool. Gooey. Or even Squatting Babu. Ooh. Oh, look at him. But yeah, then you got Ivan Ooze, who's the big bad villain for this movie. And he takes over. He locks Rita and Zed in a little snow globe thing. And he has Goldar and the pig by his side. And he's ready to take over. And he uses ectomorphicons to take over the world. So he enslaves the adults of Angel Grove to dig up his ectomorphicons. And he instructs them to jump off a cliff. And so it's up to a kid named Fred, who is the son of one of the adults, to team up with Bulk and Skull and a bunch of other kids to help take them down. And this time watching it, I realized Bulk and Skull are in their 20s. And they're with a bunch of other actual teenagers. And it's a little weird when you look at that. Like, okay, they're supposed to be teenagers, but all the other actors in there are kid actors. And it's kind of like, you couldn't get some actors more their age to kind of portray it. You had to get actual kids. It's a little confusing. It's a little weird. It's a little strange. But yeah, it's... So, the Rangers get their powers. And like I said, most of this film is practical. Like, when they fight the Tengas, practical. When they fight the Ooze Warriors, practical. When they fight the little rock warriors, they fight a lot in this movie, to get their powers, to get the Zord powers, whatever, practical. Even a practical like destruction of the things, it's practical. The only problem is the CGI from 1995 wasn't the best, and they decided to make the Zord battles completely CGI. Now, the only thing I think is actually pretty good is when Ivan Ooze fuses with one of his ectomorphicons, he actually looks decent. It's still bad CGI, but it looks better than the Megazord, right? And the one thing I've always been confused about is like, they're on a time crunch. Zordon is dying. So what is the first thing they should do when they get back, right? Bring Zordon back. Nope, they decide to fight Ivan Ooze to be the first thing when they come back. Hello, your mentor is dying. You go save him first, then go kick some ass. I mean, come on. And then in the end, they make you think, oh no, we were too late. Well, if you'd have gone there first. But no, they use their powers, they bring him back, and Zordon is A-okay. The acting, before I get on to my final thought, the acting in this movie is pretty good, except for some of the Australian actors. Sometimes they slip in and out of their accents. Otherwise, it's pretty good. Paul Freeman plays Ivan Ooze, Belloc from Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. You know the thing. So the ending of this movie has fireworks that say, "Thank you, Power Rangers," and it's playing in the background. Van Halen. What's the song? Yeah, and Dreams by Van Halen. And I remember when we were in the theater, and there's the scene where it's playing, and they look at the fireworks, and Tommy and Kimberly look at each other, and my mom stood next to me, and she goes, "Oh, just kiss already." I'm like, Mom, 8-year-old, you know. But yeah, little did I realize they actually kissed on the show before this. I just guess I didn't pay attention. Overall, this movie is actually still pretty good. It really holds up except for the CGI. I really still like this movie. And at 25 years, I feel old. You know? It really, you know, makes me feel old. It's been 25 years. I think yesterday was 25th anniversary. So it's nice to see. You know what? I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. Because in spite of the CGI, I still really enjoy this film. It really still holds up except for the CGI. So I can't just say, because of the CGI. So it gets a 10 out of 10 for me. So what are your thoughts on Power Rangers, the movie? In the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty. I'll see you in the next one.